One thing that to me has always been kind of a striking feature of this film is this interplay of a real America, this documentary location footage in New York, and these very artificial-looking, often, spaces that were shot on sets in France. There's just the geometry even of the framing is different. It tends to be more classical when they're indoors and they're on the set.
That's right, but I think that what's interesting is there's something so beautiful about the location photography in New York, which, by the way, was partly shot by Melville himself. I actually think the big influence this film had on Godard wasn't on Breathless, but on Alphaville. If for those of you who've seen Alphaville, which is actually a science fiction film filmed in Paris, that's almost all set at night, that has a tough guy hero who claims to be from a newspaper, who's introducing himself. This is a film, the first 10 minutes are set in the daytime and the last 10 minutes, but everything else is at night. And Melville, in all of his films, it seems to me, is very much concerned with atmosphere. And this has very much a kind of nocturnal atmosphere and a fascination with nightlife, including in the arts. I mean, you've got a theater actress, you've got a jazz singer, you've got, and so on, in terms of when he's sort of like going around the prostitute, although that's probably a little more artificial, that kind of Chinese-styled bordello. But it's very much an America of the mind that we've got in this, and I think that that's what's kind of interesting, even though he's filming it on location. Although I do think there's one thing that seeps through of the real New York that I think is worth pointing out, and America of this period. I've mentioned before, and I really recommend this book by Jeanette von Sandow on Melville, which is really, as far as I know, the best book in by maybe even any language on Melville. But one way I'd like to kind of respectfully disagree with her is she basically says that Melville took all these iconography from American cinema, but he removed all the social content. It seems to me that one social thing that's going on in America at the time this film was made, which does seep into the film, is the scandal press. The Confidential magazine, which was very much a kind of partly mixed with right-wing politics, that was things that would expose sexual scandals, things like outing homosexuals, things involving black stars a great deal too. And there were a lot of imitations and in fact you even get a reference in the dialogue to Hush Hush magazine, which is the kind of titles they all had. There were zillions of them. And Confidential was a major force, you can even say, in American culture until they were basically sued out of existence. It was very sleazy. Everybody tended to read it and was aware of it. So I think that the moral issue connected with that, which even has political implications, cannot be excluded. Even a tourist who coming to New York during this period would be aware of it, I think.